What is this red monstrosity? Well, it's Disc 18, Volume 2. This one was released in August 1998, alongside issue 35 of the official UK PlayStation magazine. There are 7 playable demos, 1 net Yaroze game, 1 video preview, and 1 extra video. Another one of my favourites, this demo disc marks the end of Volume 2, but not the end of the magazine's demo discs. So let's have a look at their final Volume 2 disc. Here comes the sequel to Colony Wars, Blast Radius. The magazine likens it to Babylon 5 and gave it an 8 out of 10. Other reviewers, however, weren't as fond of it, making its overall review score around 6 out of 10. Gameplay is more the same as Colony Wars, fly around in a spaceship and blow things up. The game supports the link cable for multiplayer mayhem. The demo gives you 2 crafts to choose from and 2 missions to tackle.
Three, 2, 1.
Let's get into the really good stuff, starting with circuit breakers. With gameplay that's not dissimilar to Micro Machines V3, you choose a car in the innovative menu and race on over 60 tracks to try and become the champion. Playing solo is difficult, yet grand. Playing multiplayer, it's a frantic frenzy that'll have you pulling your hair out, but also keeping you playing for hours. It takes some time getting used to the feel of the cars, you need to anticipate the corners to avoid bumping into walls. Luckily, you'll come across plenty of power-ups which you can use to your benefit, or to your opponent's misery. Reviews are pretty positive, with the UK magazine giving it a 9, citing it as a game that kept their office busy for weeks. This demo gives you 4 cars to choose from, an exclusive Arctic track for solo play, and an exclusive desert track for multiplayer. It was only a matter of time before we saw a proper anime-based game, so here's Ghost in the Shell. You control a spider-shaped robot, which the game calls Fujikoma, which you use to destroy other robots and enemy combatants. This thing can also climb walls, making combat quite interesting as you scale buildings easily. As it's an anime game, there's plenty of cutscenes in the full game, which are all very nicely animated. The demo gives you the first mission to complete. Gather key codes and face off against the tank boss. If you were ever curious what started the idea of all those hospital builder games, it's this right here. PlayStation port of Theme Hospital by Bullfrog Productions. Tending impacted colons and postulating orifices isn't everyone's idea of a laugh. However, Theme Hospital makes the concept of healthcare really quite entertaining. You are tasked with designing a hospital, right down to the fixtures, including the vending machine. This game leads heavily on the comedic side, with plenty of made-up diseases such as bloaty head, which apparently you get by drinking unpurified rainwater, and must be cured by having a doctor pop your head and reinflate it to the correct proportions. The demo gives you a tutorial on building a starting hospital, after which you've got 20 minutes to cure as many poorly folk as you can.
Patient message, credit cards required. message, credit cards required. Doctor required in standard diagnosis. We apologise for the amount of litter. Doctor required in standard diagnosis. Doctor required an inflator room. We apologise for the amount of litter. Nurse required in ward. Doctor required in GP's office. Doctor required. Nurse required in pharmacy. Doctor required in standard diagnosis.
Let's see what the competition was like for Colin McRae Rally with the cover demo for Tommi Mäkinen Rally, only known as Tommi Mäkinen Rally in the UK, and known as International Rally Championship everywhere else. This is actually less of a rally game and more of a straight racing game, as you race against opponents. The controls are finicky, the opponents are tough, so what's good about this game? Well, the presentation is charming, but the biggest thing this game has is the track editor. Easy to use, it's possibly the best thing about this game, which already has loads of tracks in various different environments. But overall, the magazine declared Colin McRae Rally to be the better rally game. This demo gives you one car and 3 different circuits to race on. Moving on to another driving game, this time one that's trying to cover all bases and not doing a bad job. It's Total Drivin, or Grand Tour Racing in North America. While not as graphically impressive as other racing games, the controls feel pretty good. Even the magazine called it an overlooked gem. The full game has you pick a team and try to win the championship of all various motorsports. The demo gives you one track in Scotland where you drive a rally car. This next demo is for those of you getting tired of space games and want to dive under the ocean. Let me introduce to you Treasures of the Deep. As an underwater treasure hunter, you use various submersibles to search the oceans for shipwrecks in the hopes of grabbing all their glittery goodness. But beware, as you not only have sharks to contend with, but also competing treasure hunters, who are not afraid to sink you to get you out of the way. Anything you find down there can be put towards upgrading your equipment. While not exactly Subnautica, I'd say this is a good attempt at making an undersea adventure for the PlayStation. The demo gives you one mission to play. Here's the net Yaroze game for this disc, Hovercar Racing. A simple top-down racing game for up to 2 players. You choose a colour for your craft and give yourself a name, followed by purchasing weapons and fuel, then it's off to the races. The controls aren't too bad, the cars are quite nippy but responsive, although it can be hard to keep track of where you are on the course at times. Another excellent example of those free, full indie net Yaroze games. The video preview is for Spice World. More of a music video with gameplay footage. The game itself is a lackluster rhythm game with some rather charming presentation. You'll also find an advert for Yaroze, as well as the Enlightenment video again. So, we've reached the end of disc 18 and indeed the end of volume 2. I really love the blue icons on the red background here, and while this disc is just as racing heavy as the last disc, I still reckon there were some great demos here, and I'm excited to show you what comes after volume 2. On the next disc, I drive even more cars, throw a pig around, and discover the add-on disc feature for circuit breakers. Thanks for watching.